I am nobody's agent. I am no bought opinion. I am no hired blade. I am neither Cecil's spy nor executioner. I wish to God that I were not here in London, on this bad business, but home at Chatsworth House with my darling innocent wife, Bess, in the simple country, and far away from the conspiracies and perils of court. I can't say that I am happy. I can't say that I like this, but I will do my duty. God knows that I always do my duty. You have been summoned for nothing but to order the death of Mary Queen of Scots, Thomas Howard hisses in my ear as he catches up with me in a gallery at Hampton Court. They have closed the shutters for cleaning, and the place is shadowy in the early evening dusk. The portraits on the walls seem to show pale-faced listeners leaning forward to hear us, as Howard takes my arm to warn me of dangers that I already fear. We are to throw suspicion on her, nothing else. Don't deceive yourself. Cecil decided that this queen was a threat to the kingdom from the moment of her birth. She may think that she has escaped her enemies in Scotland to sanctuary in England, but she has just exchanged one danger for another. Cecil has decided that she must die. This is his third attempt to convict her. We are to be his hangmen, without opinions of our own. I look down at Howard. He is a small man, well-dressed and neat, with a well-trimmed black beard and bright dark eyes. Today he is almost dancing with fury at the Queen's minister. We all resent Cecil, all us old lords, but it rubs Howard worse than any other. He is the Queen's cousin, the head of the Howard family. He is the Duke of Norfolk. He would expect to be her chief adviser, but she depends on Cecil, and always has done. I have been appointed by the Queen herself to inquire into the conduct of her cousin, the Queen of Scots. I am no hangman, I say, with quiet dignity. A man goes past and hesitates as if to listen to our conversation. Howard shakes his dark head at my naivety. Elizabeth may want the Queen of Scots' name cleared, but William Cecil is not notorious for his soft heart. He wants the Protestant faith to rule Scotland as England, and the Catholic Queen to lie in jail or in her coffin. Either suits him equally well. He will never agree that she is guilty of nothing and must be restored to her throne. I cannot argue against Howard's irritable righteousness. I know that he is speaking only the truth, but he is speaking it too loudly and too clear for my liking. Anyone could be behind the tapestry screens, and though the stranger has strolled on, he must have heard some of this. "Hush," I say, and draw him to a seat so that we can whisper. At once we look like conspirators, but the whole court looks like conspirators or spies these days. "What can we do?" I ask him quietly. "Cecil has called this inquiry to hear the evidence against the Scots Queen, to judge whether she should be restored to her throne, whether she is fit to rule. What can we do to make sure that she is treated justly?" "We have to save her," Howard says firmly. "We have to declare her innocent of murdering her husband, and we have to restore her to her throne in Scotland. We have to accept her claim to be Elizabeth's heir. She must be confirmed as heir to the throne of England when—" He breaks off. Not even Howard dares mention the death of his cousin the Queen. "When the time comes. Only the confirmed inheritance of Mary Stuart will give us the safety of knowing our next monarch. We have a right to know the heir. We have to fight her cause as if it were our own." He sees my hesitation. A couple of men go by and look curiously at the two of us. I feel conspicuous and get to my feet. "Walk with me," Howard says, "and listen. We have to fight her cause as if it were our own, because it is our own. Say that we let Cecil imprison her, or trump up a charge of murder and accuse her. What do you think happens then?" I wait. "What if next he decides that I am a danger to the kingdom? What then? What if after me he names you?" I try to laugh. "He is hardly likely to accuse you or me. We are the greatest men in England. I am the greatest landowner north of the Trent, and you are the Queen's own cousin and a duke." "Yes, and that is why we are in danger. We are his rivals for power. He will destroy anyone who challenges him. Today the Queen of Scots faces his tribunal. Tomorrow it could be me, or any that have dared to challenge him. Percy, Dacre, Sussex, Arundel, Dudley, the Northern Lords, you. He has to be stopped." Howard says, his voice a low rumble in my ear. "Wouldn't you stop him, if you could?" "It can't be done," I say cautiously. "The Queen is free to choose her own advisers, and she trusts him like no other. He has been at her side since she was a young princess. What could we accuse him of? Stealing Spanish gold, pushing them to the brink of war, making an enemy of France, driving half the country towards treason with his constant suspicion and spying on people who want nothing more than to worship in the old way. Look at the court. Have you ever been at a court before and felt yourself so fearful? It is filled with spies and plots." I nod. It is undeniable. Cecil's fear of papists and his hatred of foreigners stalk England. "This last idiocy of his is the worst," Howard says furiously. "That a ship should take refuge from bad weather in our port and be seized? He makes us a nation of pirates, and the seas unsafe for our shipping." I can't disagree. The Spanish treasure ship was blown to Plymouth expecting sanctuary, and Cecil, the son of a poor man, could not resist the gold it carried. He stole the gold. Simple as that. And now the Spanish are threatening a blockade of trade, even war, if we do not pay it back. We are utterly in the wrong, all because Cecil is utterly in the wrong. But he has the ear of the Queen of England. Howard masters his irritation with some difficulty. "Please God, we never see the day when you come to me and say I was right to fear him, and we should have defended ourselves. But now it is too late, and one of our own is on trial for some trumped-up charge. Please God, he does not pick us off one by one, and we are too trusting to defend ourselves." He pauses. "His is a rule of terror. He makes us afraid of imaginary enemies so we don't guard ourselves against him and against our government. We are so busy watching for foreigners that we forget to watch our friends. Anyway, you keep your counsel and I'll keep mine. I'll say no more against Cecil for now. You will keep this close? Not a word?" The look he gives me persuades me more than any argument. If the only duke in England, cousin to the Queen herself, should fear his own words being reported to a man who should be little more than a royal servant, it proves that the servant has become over-mighty. We are all growing afraid of Cecil's knowledge, of Cecil's network of intelligences, of Cecil's growing silent power. "This is between the two of us," I say quietly. I glance around to see that no one is in earshot. It is amazing to me that I, England's greatest Earl, and Howard, England's only Duke, should fear eavesdroppers. But so it is. This is what England has become in this 10th year of Elizabeth's reign. A place where a man is afraid of his own shadow. And in these last 10 years, my England seems to have filled with shadows.